Oh, hello, my wonderful, beautiful brusques and wonderful, beautiful brusques and wonderful, beautiful Marvel Nation. Janats. And welcome to, well, considering, the, what if Izuku was Sonic.exe was only like one part long, and I kind of feel like seeing as, what if, Izuku was Shadow, it's like multiple parts long. That's kind of like an injustice that I need to correct. So, I decided, let's add Naruto into the fray. With what if Naruto was exetior slash exe, or Sonic.exe? Part 1. Our intro here, Play With Me, Sonic.exe song. Keep this game for me. You longer green. The animals will flow. Nothing seems so little time. Friend, in the end. There's a silence in the air. You're facing your demise. You slow. Again. Sonic. So little time. Friend. Your soul in the end. Night. The torturous fun and the fun will be endless. Open wide, the emptiness inside. God, with me, a simple game of hide and seek. Close your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Dreams will And now, after intro, we get to part 1 of What If Naruto was exetior slash song.exe. Well, as they say, the calm before the storm. Because, oh boy, whenever it came to absolute disasters, oh boy. Considering, Kurama's feelings on, the matter of being sealed within a freaking not even a year old child. It seemed as like every year that passed by, every October 10th, this, kid that, the demon lord was, trapped in was, keep on getting, abuse and abuse, worse and worse every year. And eventually, this is. Certain events that caused Exetior to appear within the same mindscape. Not really knowing how this was brought about. Just like 1 second he was about to be erased, and the next second he's inside this freaking, mindscape thing. And there's like this giant 9-tailed fox. Very, looking very pissed at him. And, Giti ends up figuring out, apparently Kurama does not like too much company. And so they ended up, fighting for, well, basically, they have, decided, they were going to have a battle of wills, and whoever will was, stronger. It was like One Piece, Conqueror's hockey level shit. Like, whoever's will was stronger, they would become the dominant force within, this kid's, head. And, would be able to draw upon the power of the one who was the non-dominant force whenever they frickin' felt like. And, well, seeing as, Kurama was not only sealed, shut tight, to only, give Naruto, like, chakra whenever he, needed, like, repairs for his body or, like, like he was in serious danger, you know, Kurama couldn't really do much because of the seal. And not only that, but dude was cut in half. Yeah, literally, the other half is inside Minato's dead corpse. And, Exedior found that interesting. Being like, looks like I have a dead corpse to rob. Never thought I'd be, actually doing that, but okay. Because of these, handicaps, even though, Kurama being the strongest of the nine demon lords, and, this reality, oh my goodness gracious. Well, yeah, you can kind of figure out how that went. Dude is literally freaking God. So, yeah, he's a freaking God mod mofo. So, yeah, basically, Exedior ended up, shifting through Naruto's memories after, having basically a one sided smackdown against Kurama's will. Like, because, technically cut in half, so not really all that much will to begin with. Because technically, it's easier to just pull his I am God mode and just, like, suppress it that way. He didn't need, like, Hashirama cells or, like, a freaking Sharingan to do it, he just had, OPness all right. Oh, I just said OPness. Oh, God. Oh, God. Why me? Dude, we're just OP. And, well, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Eventually, Naruto, well, after, well, a while of, things just, going on as, they had been for quite some time. A certain, October 10th, the villagers decided to, go extra, balls deep with, the torture of the one they, called a Kyuubi brat. And, after sifting through, several of, like, Naruto's memories, Xavier decided that he hated these people. Especially seeing as, they did stuff that, Xavier would even admit that he didn't even do. That he probably would never even, actually, do. And, his entire lifespan, which is God knows how long. And the dude even admitting that he probably wouldn't even do half that shit. Especially the sexual part. I mean, this shit was the red light district of Konoha. The women probably didn't even care that they were, the Kyuubi brat who, was not even, 10 years old. Not even in the double digits yet. They probably didn't even give a shit that they were doing this to, just, oh God, like, this just further cemented in, Exedier's mind that, these people did not deserve mercy. But, at the same time, he kind of needed to be discreet in order, because, well, this kid isn't even, double digits, and, barely any shinobi training as it is. and the shinobi training that he did get, so far in the academy. As he was like barely 7 whenever, Exetior first got actual access to the, deeper, darker part of his, memories. Was botched as hell. Just all that more reason for Exetior to hate humanity. Or at least the humanity of, the Hidden Leaf. Though there are certain individuals that, he could come to at least, not hate with a passion. Like, the ramen people, like, people like, the Jirakus. And then there's the old man, which, he may not, hate the old man, but that doesn't mean he likes him. Because he can just tell from the old man's, actual, just anything about him that he's hiding shit on purpose. And, he was, there were only certain, amount of people that, he felt he could actually, tolerate, being around, the one that would be, his vessel from now on. And so the time would soon come whenever, well, basically, it'll be on the night of, whenever he finally hit double digits, whenever Naruto finally hit double digits, that he would have what seemed at first like some sort of demented nightmare. But, then he would begin to realize, this sewer shit is just like his freaking mind. And that's whenever, almost like Aizen, going shatter Kyogetsu, the sewer would shatter and he would begin to see his new mindscape. And that it was terrifying. Dead animals, like freaking ocean of blood, dark, like black sky, darkened clouds, like cumulonimbus shit. I can't even freaking say the word. Damn me, words. And basically, and the fashion in which these animals were just like, oh god, and, just presented out like somebody was like playing some sort of sick, twisted mind game, like amount of like psychological warfare, like on, his own mind. Like Naruto's like, wait, shouldn't I be in the control of what my mindscape looks like? Then why the hell does it look like this? Like, this is not what I would imagine, would be pleasant at all. And that's whenever, Naruto would begin to, stop himself and, be like, well, then, again, these are, animals, and, people eat animals, well, so then why am I so, well, I guess why I'm disgusted is because in the way that they look like they were killed, like somebody was just doing this for sport. Naruto, begins to reevaluate, his own fears. That not really that they were killed, but more like, in the way and, fashion and, like, the kind of, like, the way they were killed. Something like the freaking Predator, like the Yautja, like, how they kill for sport. And Naruto thinking, reevaluating himself, like, thinking, probably like this because, it looks like this, whoever this was, like, they basically seemed like a type of person who would, just kill for sport. Like, barely any of this looks like it was actually eaten, so, like, it couldn't have been, like, for, like, predatory, like, purposes. Like, that is, unless the predatoriness was more or less as the same thing, as for, sport. But Naruto's, not really doubting it, but not really not doubting it either. And, as Naruto would begin to look out at the ocean of blood, because, the coppery smell would be everywhere. So it had to be an ocean of blood. Nothing else. That coppery smell is, like, unmistakable from, whenever he was tortured in the past. He knows the smell of blood whenever he smells it. That is a definite ocean of blood in the background. And, like, whatever sort of mountains that were, back there, even behind the ocean, they, like, seem blackened and decayed, like, decrepitness, or whatever. Whatever's certain about this place is that it's definitely not in the representation of anything that would be considered alive or living at all. And then you would just hear the voice, this voice say, "So it took you that long to notice. I'm disappointed. I can honestly say that I'm disappointed in you, Uzumaki Naruto. How it took you this long to notice. How sad. But then again, considering your stunted education in the academy, why wouldn't it take you this long, if not longer? If any, that bit of that, it basically shows that even for all they tried to do to stunt your growth, you're actually smarter than would be considered." And, basically, the last thing Naruto would hear would be, "Found you." As Naruto would just turn around and see this, person, basically. The literal image of Song.exe/exetior. And, Naruto would, instead of, either be like, instead of crying or, be shaking in fear, Naruto would compose himself because apparently this person knew a lot about him, like, if that's even a person he's seeing in front of him, that managed to sneak up behind him without making any damn noise. Like, are they a freaking ninja monster thing? And then, almost if, like, reading his mind, and technically, if, this, whatever they are, is to be believed, they're inside his mind, which Naruto isn't sure if he highly doubts anymore, or not highly doubts anymore. Like, he doesn't even know what he believes anymore. Like, what any of this is. And, well, just as if, like, reading his mind, the person just, well, whoever they are, just says, well, basically, safe to say, they basically explain, the fact that, well, you know, there was a little bit of a, hassle that happened in between, him and, previous tenant. And now, seeing as he had won that certain, hassle, he is now the main dominant force, the new tenant, you could say. And that his name is Exetior, the Archdemon. Or just simply Exetior. And, Naruto would just be like, "So, get it over with already. And, Exeter would be confused by this until, he, realized, well, he did look very imposing. Even to this kid who seemed, smarter than, who would be, considered, the academy, teachers, continuously trying to stunt his growth. He still looked very intimidating. And so basically, whatever, the kid would be, thinking, like, he would still be, it would just be like, he believes I'm here to kill him. Oh boy. This is going to be a hard bomb to drop. Like bombs, actually. Exeter explaining, well, Naruto. If I was here to kill you, I already would have done it by now, or would have chased you off, in the hopes that I'd be able to get enjoyment from the chase. Usually, whenever I'm out to kill something, I try to play a game of sorts with my prey to get as much enjoyment as possible before I make the kill. However, I have done none of this. You must have realized that by now. Well, apparently, seeing as you already were. Basically just be like, well, seeing as you really don't seem to have really noticed by now, it's like, apparently you haven't noticed little shit. And be like, Naruto, I'm not here to kill you. I'm here as your new tenant. To fix what has been attempted to be broken. Time and time again. Year and year. Every year. On the day of your birth. I am here to assist you in becoming who you are truly meant to be and beyond. As I am God. I am the universe. I am life and death. You basically just be like, I am the ultimate life form. I am life and I am death. I am the universe. I am God. And Naruto at this point wouldn't really doubt that. Because, if this is all because of him, all this shit that literally is scaring the ever-living, like, dog shit out of Naruto right now, he seriously would not doubt, his ability to be, exactly what he's saying he is. Exeter. That, dude is literally God. And basically, Naruto would just be like, so, if you're God and you're my new, wait, all the times they call me Demon Fox Bread. My original tenant was Ninetales, wasn't it? And you did something that caused to either be replaced or overlapsed as, you being the new tenant. And in you being inside of me, I would be the same as you, one and the same, wouldn't I? If I'm wrongly assuming things, you can freely do whatever you want. It's not like that's anything new to me. And, Xavier would be like, he'd kind of be, a little bit, not caught off guard, be like, he thinks I'm like them. Well, that's gonna have to be something that I need to change very soon. And basically, Exeter would be like, well, I may be God. There is also the fact that you are indeed right. As I am God, you are God. And as we are both God, we must assert our dominance upon those who wish to harm us. No matter what that decrepit old log thinks about it. Gigi. More like Gigi no re once we're done with this place and its people. Though, not consider the fact that you might have some juxtaposition to this idea of this train of thought. And basically, Naruto basically getting, the idea in his head that, Exetior is kind of trying to tell him that, they're going to freaking ransack, the actual physical world. And basically, Naruto's like, well, if I'm going to be God, then I'm, be setting my own rules. And, well, as God, it would be kind of like being the Venom movie, like, where Eddie was like, we're only going to hurt bad people. We're only going to kill bad people. And Xavier accepts this. I mean, the kid's been given enough hardship in his life already to ask, like, basically last, like, freaking eternities on end. So, least he can do is, give the kid some leeway. And, henceforth, basically, Konoha would never be the same. Konoha, Gakure, no Sato would never be the same. Since then, that point in time. And, well, that point in time, these, band of villagers who at this point basically tied Naruto to a freaking cross, about to go all triple K, like freaking burn him to the freaking stake, like go like Salem witch trials, versus triple Ks. Freaking burn him to the cross. With him bound to it already, burn him. It's like they thought he was like freaking Rasputin or something. Like they had to like go overkill just to end him. Like Ninja Rasputin. That's just like the freaking awesomest idea in my head. Like Ninja Rasputin. It's just so like that would have made the movie Anastasia so much more awesome. But with songs like "In the Dark of the Night," kind of make up for the fact that it's not Ninja Rasputin. The song "The Dark of the Night," kind of just makes up for it, like itself being in such a movie as Anastasia already, because how awesome it is. Yeah, I'll admit I like the song. In the dark of the night, it will find her. Dun, dun, dun. Like, song's pretty awesome. So even though it's not Ninja Rasputin, the song still, makes up for itself. Regardless. Though I do admit it would still be pretty badass if it was Ninja Rasputin. But, on the topic of Ninja Rasputin, elsewhere, basically regardless of that, we're doing this, not anything involving that. So, well, basically, as you know, townspeople that were basically burning Naruto, Naruto wouldn't give them the satisfaction of hearing him scream in pain. Not just because, well, of his own will, but, also because exetior had empowered him with this resiliency about himself. But, basically, them, fused together, they would be more powerful than ever. So, it wouldn't even, bother them, with what was happening to them currently. It would just be more fuel to their actual fire inside. And talking about fire inside, oh, what a fright would be given to the villagers once they heard this come out of a freaking 7-year old's mouth. Well, actually, really, like, recently, turned 10, 7, 10, whatever. It's still a little kid, hearing this come out of a little kid's mouth, as they were burning him at the stake. It was a. Oh my. Yeah, the villagers. You could only imagine what would be going through their heads. Damn ants! Yeah, after hearing that above, even the sound of the crackling fire and, what they, believed they were going to hear, the scream of Naruto, his screams of pain. Instead, they got that. Yeah, and then, oh my. Just, if I were to reference, Hellsing Ultimate Abridged, Naruto in a blood rage. And, almost like, if and like music in the background, like, literally, like, the music that was, like, happening whenever, said, Ceres, was in said blood rage, you know, Dracula. Like, literally, dude just went into the full blood rage. Yeah, basically, that would have been what happened. Like, he would even, like, stomped one of the villagers' heads. That's how, like, accurate it would have been of the situation. Like, no sympathies. Absolutely no sympathies. Didn't give a shit who saw or, who was, genuinely actually watching with any sort of interest whatsoever. Like, neither Naruto or, exetior, actually gave a genuine shit about who was watching them, if anybody. But, there were people watching, that had just now gotten there, but, they were watching what was left of the massacre. I mean, Naruto defending himself. What massacre? Oh, that massacre. Oh, whatever's left of those people's. Can those even be considered bodies anymore? Like, oh god. Oh god, no. But basically, the people that had just now arrived on the scene, Kakashi and his, like, not Ina, fuck. Like, Kakashi and, his, Inu, like, dog mask, Ambu likeness. And, Anko and her, like, heavy, like, snake mask, Ambu, uniform. And the Hokage himself. Just now dropping by the scene as, Naruto was just now finishing up. And, Exetior would have been, grinning at this display of just, like, Naruto just finally, like, having enough of the villagers' bullshit. And just being like, how do you like it, assholes? There, how do you like it? How do you like me now, bitches? You all thought you had that dog in you, but no, you're just a bunch of bitches. And so, yeah, basically. As, Hiruzen would have finally, gotten Naruto back, out of his blood rage moment. He would be like, yeah, I'm gonna have Anko and Kakashi here, with me, to escort, Naruto. Well, actually, as, Hiruzen's looking at Naruto, it seems like almost like he's in a catatonic state without, having the power of his blood rage flow through him. He's like went into some sort of catatonic state. And so, Anko basically has to, like, pick him up bridal style. Because, Kakashi is currently, in order to keep himself from, looking at, like, whatever was left of the bodies, like, basically, kind of like a train wreck. Like, you don't want to look at it, but at the same time, like, you can't stop from looking at it. So Kakashi just uses, whatever he considers his usefulness by, fire style jutsu and, like, burning, the bodies until there's nothing left but, ash. And I'm not talking about the Evil Dead or the Pokemon kind. Just burning ash left in the wake. With a smell of some sort of, like, burning, like, copper likeness, like, perfuming in the air. And Naruto, barely somewhat out of his catatonic state, would just, like, sport a grin as, he took in the smell. And as he would be taking in the smell, Exetior would also be able to take in the smell as, he had managed to gain access to Naruto's senses. Well, being one and the same, he would have access to Naruto's senses. So, yeah. Oh, God. Like, the ride to the Hokage mansion would just be one of, like, very high tension. Oh, boy. And by the time, they had finally got there, the only thing that they could think to do, even though, Naruto was finally set on the couch, he was still in his catatonic state, so seeing as Kakashi is really not, an expert on these kind of things, seeing as, anyone, in a similar state to this, usually they weren't, still alive, they were dead right in front of him. Kakashi's own history with his own teammates and even Sensei. Yeah. Usually they weren't alive enough to be saved, if they were anywhere near this state. For, Kakashi. Well, seeing as, the Hokage didn't really think he would be any better, seeing as usually, if the Hokage was around, Naruto would be, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, up and chipper. So, seeing as, like I said, Exetior shares his senses with Naruto, oh my god, even though Anko knew Naruto was in a catatonic state, he still decided to close Naruto's eyes for him whenever she decided to do this. Mwah. You owe me one, kid. Like she would be like, you owe me one, kid. Mwah. And, Exeter would be like, oh, hell, that was unexpected. Wait. Why warm? It's so warm. And then all of a sudden, bang! Look. What the? And Exeter would be like, oh yes, that's right. I have to remember I'm inside the body of a kid. He hasn't experienced the talk yet. And seeing as I don't think even the old man is going to give him anything similar, either the academy teachers, seeing as they seem to neglect even the simplest of teachings, that I'll be the one have to be responsible, if not this snake lady, who just, well, considering what she just did, probably the both of us will be the one giving him the talk. And, Xavier just now, basically, and, saying this to himself is be like, well, shit. It's not like, it's not exactly like you wouldn't be looking forward to this, but it's not like you, would exactly be looking forward to it, but not like you would be not looking forward to it. He'd be very confused on what exactly, was, they were supposed to do going forward. After, well, that. And, surprising to even Exeter, Naruto actually was able to remember that. What just happened there. I mean, considering the thing, that's the thing that woke him up. Basically, Naruto would be like, no fair, Anko. You messed with the coppery smell. And I was really beginning to enjoy that. And, this would, all sorts of alarm bells ringing in Kakashi and Hiruzen's heads. And, Anko would be, too confused by the fact that, Naruto was apparently disappointed by the fact that, he was basically given a kiss. That most men basically, if they tried doing that, with Anko, they would, basically have their private areas be destroyed by venomous snakes. In their sleep. Basically castrating them from the waist down. And probably, even suffocating in their own blood before, the poison actually claimed them. Yeah, Anko was that vicious. Whenever it came to, certain, acts, considered, sexual. And, well, it wouldn't be, much long after, well, all of that, which, Naruto would eventually, up through the years, you know, and, Exeter constantly having to remind him about the fact that they're, sharing the same body and mind, that, he should probably, be a little bit more cautious about his own health. And Naruto having to remind Exeter, he doesn't have a choice. This is the only stuff he can actually get. And then Exeter reminding Naruto, you could always go hunting. And, Naruto being like, well, shit. So Naruto decides to, take, Exeter, like, basically be like, challenge accepted. And, well, finds that, not only is hunting, better for his health because, he's getting, more variety and, better things to eat than just ramen every day and, milk. That's not even, good for him because, it's already expired by the time he buys it. Or, sifts through the trash to get it. That's already a sign of bad health. Nothing short of like an extremely, bill of non, freaking, basically, Naruto considers Akitira to be like the closest thing that he, has ever had to like a family that he can remember. Except for, like the old man, but Naruto's slowly starting to, accept the fact that, what Exetior has said about, the Hokage is more or less true. About, hiding shit and, not being, very honest whenever he does say something. And pertaining to the things that Naruto, most likely wants to actually know about his own life. Already beginning to be able to tell that, the Kyuubi once resided in his body, at full capacity before Exetior decided to take over. And what else was the old man, trying to hide from him? And, well, basically, Exetior is like, kid, you know about the Hokage's office. And, Naruto would be like, yeah. And Exetior would be like, you know about the photos in the Hokage's office? And Naruto would be like, yeah. And he would just be like, number 4. Remember what he looked like. And remember what you look like. Basically, forcing Naruto to actually crane his neck down because he was near like a pond of something, we could look into his reflection in the water. And basically, Exeter's like, now remove the whisker marks and a little bit of the baby fat, but not all of the baby fat. And, make yourself a little bit taller. And, a little bit more hair. Not really disrupted, but not really not disrupted by the headband. And even remove the headband, considering, the 4th, well, how that, pertains to things. And basically, Naruto would be like, Gigi, you son of a... He would be like, he wouldn't even say Gigi, he'd be like, here's in Sarutobi, you son of a... He would be pissed. And, just to, like, Naruto, fill him in on a little bit more things, just to quell the, not really quell, but not really not quell it, anger of Naruto right now. But also tell him about, the pretty much erasure of the history of the Uzumaki clan from, history books of Konoha, even though they wear their damn symbols on their flak jackets. Assholes. And how Kushina Uzumaki was the fourth husband, making her Naruto's mother. And basically, Kushina's mother, Mito Uzumaki, was the husband of the first Hokage. Or was it, like grandmother? Was it mother or grandmother of, but either way, he's still the husband of the first and still related, Uzumaki blood, regardless. And that, not really long, from the second and third Shinobi Wars, Uzu was, destroyed. And that the Allied, force, like, from Konoha that was sent to try to, help, keep that from happening, wasn't even that strong of an Allied force. So, yeah, it seemed like a pretty pathetic attempt for, like, assistance, if any at all. So not only did they barely give any help, but pretty much, considering that, could literally consider them traitors to the Uzumaki clan, seeing as they barely gave any help at all, and it wasn't even, at all effective, seeing as by the time they got there, basically the entire, destruction of the Uzumaki clan was, then and done. Except for some select stragglers who spread out through the entire elemental nations, big ants model. So yeah, Naruto is not having a good day. But time skip, let's a time skip. Do a time skip. Naruto, this will be his third time taking the graduation exam. But, he wouldn't blow it, considering, he has his own friend has been, helping him with figuring out the secret method that the Uzumaki used because of their huge ass chakra control problem. Known as the multi shadow clone jutsu. And, well, yeah, that basically threw Mizuki's whole plan, off kilter. But, imagine his surprise whenever, before he's even able to, like, leave his freaking house to, leave the village, with the attempted, stealing of the scroll. Oh my. Imagine the surprise of you know, freaking Mizuki when before he can even leave his damn house, he hears, barely like outside his window, he hears this.
Alright, everybody, it's two
Damn
of
it!
these for just $6.
Can you get a Dave single with a 10-piece nug?
Yeah.
How about two Dave singles for $6? And that's class.
Sit down, Toad.
Sorry.
Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's 2 for 6.
Just hears this. Before Mizuki can even like leave his damn house, he, out the side of his window, he hears this. And oh boy. Oh. Yeah. It's not really, well, surprising to see that, the next day, following the next day, a dead Mizuki, with the scroll of sealing sprawled out on his chest, proving that, he had, had some really big balls to be trying to steal his, like, scroll of sealing, with juices from the first and second. And not only that, but apparently on, the wall next to the window, there would be the words, painted in, since there was that coppery smell, that seemed to even reach from, the wall. Apparently blood, Mizuki's blood, if they were to be correct. The words, I am God. And whenever the Hokage would get, basically back from his mansion, well, imagine his surprise whenever, after all that, basically on the wall, the part of the wall that's above the window, that's behind, his, desk and chair, the part of the wall above the window, the words, written in more of Mizuki's blood, and, possibly a mixture of, different animal bloods. The words, ready for round 2. There would even be like little smiley face question mark. Like, where the little like dot is supposed to be, like there'd be a smiley face inside of it. Just to, be like, it would be like the freaking, just, some trollage. The word, literally the words, ready for round 2. And, it would be like, the Hokage would literally be like, oh my god, this is going to be terrible. Like, the Civilian Council, the Shinobi Council, the Elders, they would all be in an uproar, being like, demanding an explanation on what the hell was even going on. Like, considering the person used, the blood from not only Mizuki, but, animals even, to, like, possibly cover their tracks, possibly just, just to mess with people. Well, let's just say, seeing as Naruto had graduated and got himself a headband, before really all that much could be done, you know, Naruto, seeing as a Sasuke, was sitting next to the window, as they were waiting for, the senseis to get there because they had already had their teams assigned. Sakura not exactly, all that happy that she had to be with Naruto, but, really happy that she was with Sasuke. Being like, stop sitting next to Sasuke, I'm sitting next to Sasuke. And basically, Naruto would do this thing where, he would look at Sakura, close his eyes, and catch her fist right whenever it was about to hit his head. With one hand. And open his eyes. As blood would trickle out. And he would, Sakura would see dark eyes with his head red. Oh. And they're bleeding, tears of blood, And, Naruto would even have a grin, spreading, threatening to literally tear his face apart. Just looking at Sakura like, try that, bitch. Freaking try me. Try me, bitch. Freaking try me. Trust me, you don't want any part of this. And, this would only, stop whenever, basically Sakura basically relented on her, trying to punch Naruto in the face. Or upside the head. And, Sasuke would have actually seen that, out of the corner of his eye. And basically be like, there's no way in hell that just happened. And unknown to them, Kakashi would have actually seen that. Well, at least unknown to them until Exetior actually, when, basically he was, inside of Naruto's mind, but he, could indeed, sense things that are around them. Like, Kakashi's presence and the fact that he had noticed the eyes thing. And be prepared for, crazy shit. Kakashi was able to see that. And the possibility that he might even report that, to the Hokage. And Naruto would be like, oh, Exetior, you act like I don't want him to. And then see what happens whenever they try me. Like they tried my birthplace, village of Ozu. And, well, as they, would all meet up with Kakashi, everything would go up as in canon. Except for whenever, Sakura would say her thing about, not liking Naruto. A second flash of those same eyes. And, Naruto wouldn't even be, trying to hide it from Kakashi. Because, whenever I said that they could sense shit, they can even sense, Kakashi's hidden Sharingan eye. So, they would know that it's not really, worth the trouble of trying to hide, their shit. Seeing as this dude has a freaking Sharingan implant into his freaking eye. And, apparently was supposed to be their sensei. for some reason, Kakashi could tell that, for the majority of what Naruto was actually talking about, during his introduction, he was lying out his teeth. That, he had much darker intentions behind, the happy-go-lucky persona that he was, putting on. Regardless of, if he knew about Kakashi's ability to, see through things. He did not care at all. And, in fact, he was practically daring the man to, silently daring the man to actually try him. And basically, once everyone had left, Kakashi, secretly hadn't really left. He had just, went to an area where he believed Naruto really wouldn't be able to find him. As until, well, almost like if he was like giving him like a message like telepathically, because he could literally hear it inside of his own head, he would hear this.
So many souls to play with, so little time. Would you agree?
And then he would just hear Kakashi Sensei. And then bing! Like, dude would just teleport out there. Like, Naruto would have the literal ability to teleport. And, would have just pulled a fast one on Kakashi, scaring the shit out of him. And be like, yeah, I have to report this to the Hokage. Yeah, shit is really starting to hit the fan. Like, really damn fast. So yeah, that's only merely part 1 of What If Naruto was Exetior / Sonic.exe. Or Sonic.exe / Exetior. That's only merely part 1. Deuces!